come up with a list of 94 recommendations to address ongoing problems. They range from an apology from the Catholic Church to increased funding for native education. Commission Chairman Justice Murray Sinclair was asked about the cost of adopting the recommendations.
We recognize that there's a practicality element here. The economy being what it is, things need to be kept in mind as we go forward. But the one thing that I am confident of is that the cost of doing nothing is worse than the cost of doing something.
Sinclair says governments can show leadership at no cost by recognizing the Commission's work as a guide for future relations with Native people. FIFA President Sepp Blatter has stunned the world of soccer by announcing his resignation just 4 days after he was re-elected for his 5th term.
This mandate does not seem to be supported by everybody in the world of football, supporters, clubs, players. This is why we're calling Extraordinary Congress, and it is going to be held as soon as possible, and a new president will be elected to follow me.
Blatter says he'll stay on until that emergency Congress is held sometime between December and March. The Congress is also expected to approve deep reforms to FIFA leadership. Some of its top executives are now facing charges of racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering in the United States. And many are blaming Blatter for fostering an atmosphere of corruption within the organization. Quebec legislators are extolling the virtues of former PQ Premier Jacques Parizeau today. Parizeau died last evening at age 84, though he was an ardent separatist. Even those who opposed his political views spoke of him today with respect. Those who offered praise, Quebec's Liberal leader, the Premier, Philippe Couillard.
The fact that he was one of the great builders of the Quiet Revolution benefits all Quebecers. And it is in this way today we should talk about him and remember him. I don't think he himself would like celebrations or memories that are going to be told today to be colored by partisanship. This is not the day for that.
The sitting PQ leader, Pierre-Carl Pellideau, says it was Parizeau who inspired him to make the jump to provincial politics. A Conservative Party staffer plans to seek the Tory nomination in the Nova Scotia riding being vacated by Peter MacKay. Fred Delory is the party's Director of Political Operations in Ottawa. Peter MacKay has represented the Central Nova riding since 2004, but announced last week that he would not seek re-election. His father, Elmer MacKay, held the same riding through the 70s and early 80s. The Liberals and NDP are looking for candidates to represent their parties in that riding. The International Coalition carrying out the military campaign against ISIS met today in Paris with Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Rob Nicholson at the table. He says a top priority is to stop the flow of foreign fighters joining the ISIS insurgency.
In 2014, my Foreign Affairs predecessor announced $5 million to support regional efforts in the Middle East and North Africa to stem the flow of foreign fighters into Iraq and Syria. And today I'm pleased to announce that of this funding, Canada will be allocating $1 million to Interpol to train frontline police officers in the Middle East and Africa to contain foreign fighters.
The U.S.-led military campaign has carried out more than 4,000 airstrikes against ISIS in Syria and in Iraq. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi says Iraq will make the necessary sacrifices to fight ISIS, but it will require ongoing help from the international community. 4 teens have been seriously hurt on a roller coaster ride at one of the biggest theme parks in the UK. It happened in Staffordshire when a car on the top 14-loop roller coaster carrying 16 people slammed into a stationary car. Ambulance officials say 2 girls and 2 boys sustained leg injuries. The other 12 suffered minor injuries. All had to be retrieved from about 8 meters up on a lower section of the ride.